Hey everyone, welcome to Pai's Kitchen. So today I have one of my favorite non-Thai rice dishes to share with you, Japanese garlic fried rice. So even though this dish is Japanese, I became aware of it living in Thailand, where many hot pot restaurants or one of those self-barbecuing restaurants would have it on the menu as a side dish, and I loved it, and it's like one of those satisfying rice dishes that's really hard to stop eating. It's really simple, and it's a good thing to have in your repertoire when you want like a side dish that's a little more interesting than just plain rice, but it's flavorful enough that you can have it on its own as a meal with maybe like an extra side of protein that you cook up. So super versatile dish, easy to make. Let's get started. So let's talk garlic first. So for this recipe, I'm using an entire head of garlic. Some of it, about 40% of it, I slice up into garlic chips. So if you're in a rush, don't have time, you don't have to bother with the garlic chips. You can just make the rice, but it's a nice, crunchy, extra garlicky touch if you've got the time. And then the rest of it, I just finely mince it like this, okay? The sauce is really simple. It could be as simple as soy sauce and salt. I am using Japanese soy sauce, of course, and just FYI, this is the one that I used. It doesn't have to be this one. I also have a little extra secret ingredient that I like to add in my garlic fried rice. I'm using dashi powder or hondashi. So this is basically the Japanese fish stock, the base stock that they use in a lot of their different dishes in powdered form. So it's like the convenience version of instead of making it from scratch, and you can get it in a package just like this at the Japanese grocery store or like an Asian grocery store. It's a really handy thing to have on hand because you can quickly make miso soup if you needed to using that. So I've just got a little bit of water here. I'm just gonna mix it together, or it would be even better if you used a mini whisk for mixing. Although this bowl is so small, even the mini whisk is too big. Okay, so that's that. If you opt to not use the hondashi, you will need to up the salt because this is a little bit salty. Apart from that, I just got some eggs and rice. For this, you want to use Japanese short grain rice. This recipe calls for 1.5 cups of short grain Japanese rice, which is conveniently 2 of those little rice cooker measuring cups. If you have a rice cooker, you know what I'm talking about. They always come with a little measuring cups for measuring rice. That cup is 3/4 of a regular measuring cup. So 2 of those is 1.5 cups. If that's confusing, don't worry. I will explain it all in detail in the written recipe, which you can check out. But conveniently, you can just cook a whole pot, 2 cups, and use the whole thing. No need to measure or weigh the cooked rice afterwards, okay? I'm going to start by making my garlic chips. And by the way, you don't have to do chips. You can do like the Thai style fried garlic as well, where you just chop them and then you get little bits of fried garlic as opposed to sheets of fried garlic, which might be easier if you have a hard time slicing them evenly, because with the garlic chips, you want to get them as evenly as possible. I got a little bit of oil here, just enough to submerge the garlic. I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to just drop a piece of test garlic and then wait till that starts bubbling, not too excitedly, but there's, a decent amount of bubbling going. There you go. For this, you want to add the garlic when the oil is already hot. So once they go in, turn the heat down to low and then let them fry gently on sort of medium-low heat so that they don't brown before they are crisp, if you know what I mean. You want to get them to a point where they have very small amount of bubbling. If they're completely still, that's even better. That means they are completely crispy. And you don't want to get them too brown because browned garlic is bitter. So you want to get just a light golden brown. So if you notice ones that have already browned before the rest because they are thinner, you can go in and individually remove them with a tweezer or mini tongs. Okay, you know what? The bubbling is really still now, and they're mostly golden. There you go. And you want to let these cool a little bit before they will be crisp. I am going to saute my minced garlic in butter. You can, of course, just use oil, but if you are going to use oil, use that garlic oil that you just obtained from frying your garlic. It'll be extra garlicky. So I'll wait till this melts. Geez, this stove is so hot so fast. I have an electric stove at home that takes an incredibly long time to heat up. And so when I come here and use this burner, I'm always caught off guard how fast things heat up. The chopped garlic goes in. And when you're cooking with butter, you want to keep the heat on the low side because butter burns rather quickly. So you want to give the garlic lots of time to infuse and soften without burning the butter. Just a touch more of that garlic oil. Okay. There we go. That looks good. Oh, it smells so good. The smell of butter and garlic in a place with no ventilation. Okay, and what I'm gonna add also right now is some black pepper. A lot of people like to add black pepper at the end, but I find that if you add at the beginning in the fat, then it has time to infuse that pepperiness into the fat, which will help carry that pepperiness all throughout the rice. So I like to add it in the beginning sometimes if I remember. Okay, the rice goes in. Woohoo! Plonk. And then our seasoning. Spread the seasoning out over the rice so that the liquid will help the rice separate, and then you have less fiddling to do to get everything evenly coated. So salt, soy sauce, and dashi goes in. That's it. Now the only thing you need to do is make sure everything is well coated. And you can turn the heat up now because now our butter, oops, that's the wrong way. And now our butter is protected in the rice so it won't burn now. Wow, see how instantly that just got hot. So now the technique is you flip, and then any lumps of rice that you see, you use a spatula to press down, which is why it's really helpful when you're frying rice to use an angled spatula, not a straight one. Look how easy that comes together. I love making fried rice actually with Japanese rice because they're so sturdy. Okay, so that looks good. Actually, the tiny pieces of white rice makes it look a little prettier too. Okay, and what you can do if you like sort of the toasted rice flavor, you just kind of let it sit on the pan, get it a little bit brown, sing happy birthday to yourself or something, and then flip, and then you notice that there's a little bit of browning at the bottom of that rice. That's nice and tasty right there. Whew, yes. Okay, that's it. You're done. How easy is that? Oh my God, the eggs. Don't forget the eggs. So if you want eggs, I'm gonna add my eggs right here. I'm gonna break the yolks. I'll let it set a little bit. I can also move the pan so the egg is sort of sitting more centered on the wok. And then I can, once the egg is sort of setting a little, you can take this hot rice and smother it. This is the same as my pad thai technique. Smother the egg with the rice so that the eggs will sort of hold on to the rice, and it'll also help cook the eggs a little faster. Let that sit for 30 seconds or so. Yeah. And then you toss. If you oiled that space where the egg was gonna go into, it will help prevent the egg from sticking, but I did not do that. Okay, beautiful. Now really, it's done, and you turn it off, and then you add a little bit of greenery. Save a little bit for garnish at the end. Toss that in. One thing I will add about adding the eggs, you can skip the eggs altogether. I have done that and it's fine, but I find that adding eggs in fried rice, the egg will help absorb the fat from the rice and make it less greasy tasting. So if you don't like rice to be too greasy, fried rice with egg is what you want to do. Okay, all right, let's eat it. Ooh, yes. And I like that the egg wasn't beaten, so there's like bits of white and yellow mixed together. Woohoo, look at that. Remember our fried garlic? See how Now that they're cool, they're completely crispy. I think you can hear how crispy that is. Okay, but before I put on the garlic, I like to top it with a little crushed seaweed or aonori. So this is the same stuff that you see on top of okonomiyaki or what's the other thing I'm thinking of? Takoyaki. They're just crushed seaweed. It's gonna add a little bit of flavor, but not too much. But I think it's super pretty and it makes it look kind of Japanesey. So instead of, you know, extra green onions, ooh, and you want to concentrate it in the middle and then spread it out further. Ah, look how cool that looks. And then you can add more when you eat it. And then top it with our fried garlic chips. Oh yes, look at that. How pretty is that? Okay, let's taste it. But I'm gonna eat it straight from the wok because I don't want to mess this up for my photos. I'm going to take a photo of that later. Sprinkle a little garlic chips in this corner here where I'm going to eat. Smells so good. I'm telling you, that little bit of dashi already adds the aroma. So good. Oh, the texture of that rice. So, as you know, jasmine rice is usually my go-to, and I'm so used to eating fried rice with jasmine rice. But to once in a while have fried rice using Japanese rice, it's so nice to have a bit of a chew to the rice. It's a little firmer, it's a different experience. It's garlicky, it's buttery, without being greasy because we added that egg. And I am telling you, that little bit of dashi powder adds a little sort of Japanese-ness to it because it is that flavor that you recognize in so many Japanese dishes. So it really brings that together. If you, by the way, don't want to use like a powdered stock, you want to go from scratch DIY, you can cook the rice in dashi that you make. So you make homemade dashi and use that to cook the rice, and then that's one way of doing it without using powdered stock. But I'm telling you, whether you're having hot pot or whatever, this is going to be a great side dish. In fact, I think I'm just going to eat a whole bowl of it without anything else because it's that satisfying. So I hope you give this a try. The recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com. When you make it, send me a photo on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you do so you don't miss an awesome recipe like this. And click the bell icon as well so you get a notification when I post a new video. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time for your next delicious adventure.